Sziasztok! Ez az előadás angol nyelvű lesz, úgyhogy át fogok most váltani angolra rögtön. So, welcome everyone. I would like to introduce you our lovely guests of honor for Spring MondoCon 2024. So, let me introduce you Kitty Mortensen. Hi. You get a microphone.
Hello.
We'd like to introduce you Seme Cosplay.
Thank you. Hello.
And of course, Taifu.
Hello, thank you so much.
And in this panel, we are going to talk a bit about cosplay routines, everything related to cosplay, from the imagination, from thinking about a new cosplay, making a cosplay, and then how to perform on the stage, and then after we will talk a bit about photo shoots too, if we have the time. So please sit down.
Thank you.
Okay. So first, I would like you all to introduce yourself a little bit. To know where should we start? There? Okay.
Hi, my name is Taifu. I'm Jordi Martinez. I'm from Spain. And I started in cosplay world in 2013. This year I will celebrate 11 years. And I started to visiting events like this in Barcelona, Manga Barcelona. And I take photos because we use Facebook. And when I take a photo with one cosplayer, I tag her on the photo, and her contact me to say, you can do cosplay too. And Crispy Chicken is my discovery friend. And next year I understand the competitions that you can see, like yesterday in the main stage in MondoCon. And I start, and the first competition that I do, I win. I go to China, and it was a frenetic rhythm, but this is cosplay and chill today, and more.
Hi. Is it on? Yeah. Hi. I'm Seme from Germany. I'm cosplaying since 2007, so for 17 years already. And 5 years ago, I quit my job and founded my own company. And I have a thriving business with cosplay commissions with a team, and we're growing, and I'm very happy without that. I entered some contests in the past, and yeah, got some prizes, but it's I didn't join any competitions recently, but I really would love to do that again, and I'm planning to, yeah.
Hello, I'm Kitty. I'm from Denmark. I'm also a photographer and a costume seamstress. I do a lot of corsets and stuff like that, so I like to incorporate that into my cosplay designs. Yeah, I think I don't really do much of competitions or anything anymore, but I will hopefully get to do more competitions in the future. So, yeah.
So, first I would like to ask you all that what is your best cosplay so far, in your opinion? What is that you're really proud of? If you can choose one, of course. But because I understand when we discussed this that you had several cosplays you really loved, and I can relate to that. So it's hard to choose, but please try to choose one.
Yeah, it's difficult to choose because maybe the easier answer is the last one that I made but in my opinion, the most difficult or my first challenge was Hocus Pocus, Winifred Sanderson, because it was a challenge because I need to convert myself in a female old woman with a big bottom, with a big boobs, and changing my silhouette and interpret like a crazy witch, because they sing, she sings, she dances, and it's very different style of my personality. And it was a challenge. It was very fun to interpret on ECG. It's my first time in ECG in Japan Expo in Paris, and well, I'm so proud because it's not only a costume. It's a performance. It's a interpretate, and it's a mix about a lot of things.
I have a question for that. That for girls, I think it's not that difficult to crossplay. But how is it for boys? How does it? I don't know if it's. How does it feel to cosplay a woman?
At first time, when I see the movie in one day, because I see a lot of times Hocus Pocus, and I was eating in my house, and now I see the film on the TV, and then I turn out my light and think, maybe I can do this, but okay. It's not a sexy female. It's not yes, sexy female. It's an old woman. It's a woman with a coat, and I need to respect the silhouette. And the silhouette, if you have a big chest or a big shoulders, well, I need to play with the form of this part to disguise. But I think that maybe it's a mix about things, because if I was quiet, well, I can do the typical poses, but in this case, Winifred Sanderson is very hysterical and movement, and this, when you have movement in your skirt, for example, they look so different you forget that he's a boy. Yeah. You can believe that, well, is a girl or is a woman, because I need, obviously, very huge boobs, because to compare from my shoulder, yeah. And then have a thin this part, very stretched, and then I put a pillow under my bottom, because they disguise my figure and convert to Winifred. And it's very important, the attitude, the nails, the long nails, it's very, very useful things that you make me do. You're so mad, so elegant. And then it's a mix about everything. But you must play with this.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, you?
So it was kind of hard to think of my best cosplay so far, because I love a lot of my personal costumes in the past. But since I founded my company, I was always doing more research, even more research than originally for my own costumes, to achieve new ways to make really great costumes for customers worldwide. And that's why I chose, you can see it in the left of this image, the Mandalorian armor I made for a customer in Germany, because that was one of my first, I think it was actually the first costume I made with Eva foam. And I made the rifle and the whole armor myself in about 10 days with not much sleep. And I'm still so proud of this whole costume and think it's still one of my best works, yeah. I love Eva foam. It's such a great material.
Yeah, I have a really hard time choosing just one, because I feel I learn every time I make a new one, so the next one is usually the one who's my new darling. So I think my current favorite would actually be my Keyleth that I wore yesterday. I didn't have any photos at the time because I just finished her before arriving. But other than her, I really like my Bauset that is displayed now, and my Katarina also. For different reasons, they had different challenges, but again, the same that's with all of them is that they are incorporated with a corset, and I enjoy that a lot, and I think it's so fun to try to put that into a design that doesn't necessarily have one already. Yeah.
Thank you. So my next question is, how do you choose a new cosplay? How do you choose a new character you would like to cosplay? It's a very nice thing about cosplay that you don't have to be limited by anything, gender, hate, anything. If you like that character, you can cosplay that character. And this is what I love about cosplaying, but I think you can agree about that.
Yes.
So how do you choose a cosplay? What factors do you consider when you are choosing a cosplay?
Well, I like to match my best friend, who's the person I usually go to cons with, and she's sitting right over there. and like matching her is important to me, so we usually find some series or games that we have common ground on, and then we look at the characters and discuss who would like to cosplay what and why, and what plays to our strengths, and what designers we just in love with, the character. So that plays a huge role, because it's, for me, cosplay is also community. It's also doing it with people that you love. That's part of what makes it fun for me, at least.
Yeah, that's so right. Thank you.
So I'm going to continue. When I started cosplaying, actually, 17 years ago until I guess around 10 years ago, I was most likely biased by the design references themselves. So I was like, oh my God, I love this design, I'd love to craft and sew it. And instantly I fell in love with something, and then I created the costumes along. And after choosing I'm going to cosplay it, I played the games and read the lore and so on, but I completely changed that to the opposite, actually. And now I'm like, okay, it really has to get me hooked on it, a series or manga, and I really need to love the character or something about the character themselves has to make me, it needs to get my full interest on it for some weeks, and then I'm like, okay, I love him so much, I love her so much that I want to make the costumes. And
to choose. When I discovered cosplays, I understand that cosplays give you a lot of freedom to choose, a lot of freedom to create with your hands from the scratch, and it's incredible this. And because when you start, you're doing as well as you can, but when you have more practice, you can choose a new challenge. Not maybe you can do simple things or easy things, but maybe you can choose another way that it's more difficult for you, but it's a challenge. But you continue having the freedom to decide, to change, and have the choice. I say this because when I start in cosplay, I understand this when I see all the costumes, all the cosplayers, and I open my heart and decide, okay, my computer games references, or my Disney movie references, and okay, I put one. I start with this because I feel this admiration about the character in my heart, and I think that this feeling is the most important thing, because I need to stay a lot of time to sewing and create this costume, and I need something that I feel that don't makes me boring or hate the costume during 6 months, for example, or every weekend a little bit, and I need something to give me the strength to continue, and then finally to dress this costume and interpret it and believe that I'm this character.
Thank you.
Yeah, to just not lose the interest, right? Because you're burning for the character. I totally agree on that. I also love to choose a costume where there's a new challenge to achieve like huge wings or so that we never made before.
Yeah, you have to be excited about the costume and the character all the time while you put it together, and then you should be excited for the character when you dress up as the character, and it should be like you should enjoy it not just once but throughout the years.
And some costumes take so long to complete, so sometimes you're about a year working on them.
I think that it's very important that Noemi said, because if you play the character in the event all the day, it's very easy to connect to the other person who admires the character. I think that your work deserves it, that you play well all the day, because it's a hard work. Every costume have a work, because the wig, the makeup, the fabric. It's a never-ending list of work, and I think that I deserve it to present well and interpret and put faces and the attitude, and it's the complete pack and when you go to the event.
Yeah, it's a very immersive experience to do cosplay. Yeah.
And as you mentioned, that there are cosplays which are very hard to make, and you have to put a lot of time in it. So when you are making a cosplay, usually how long does it take for you to make a cosplay, and what is the biggest challenge?
Well, I prefer to use second-hand textiles when I can. I try to be very sustainable in my hobbies as well, because I do think it's important to think about, and you can get a lot of very unique textures using thrifted materials, and you can rough them up and you can color them. Of course, sometimes you will have to buy new things to get them to match the character as well as possible, but I don't think I have a single cosplay that is completely new things. All of them will have something that's from thrifted materials. I enjoy incorporating that into my hobby.
That's so clever.
When I start a cosplay, I think maybe 6 months, because when I can do it a lot of hours continuously is in weekend, because I have a job, and then when I start at 9 o'clock, I finish at 6 o'clock to the afternoon, go to the gym or go to shopping, do something for my flat and cleaning, normal life. But my free time, it's in weekend, and I spend a lot of weekends, more or less 6 months, more or less to finish one costume. And the biggest challenge for me, for example, when I start the Kaeya, the character of Genshin Impact, the most challenge was choose well the colors, because I need a lot of references about this costume, because there are a lot of things to hanging, a lot of things with no gravity. It was difficult to understand all the pieces that I must to construct, and the most challenge that I have every time is choose well the colors, because you see the colors in the TV, you see the colors in the mobile, and when you go to the shop, fabric shop, you forget the reference with the color and plan. And you need to take the fabric and go out to the shop to see with the real light. It's very difficult, and sometimes I remember with Kaeya, with Genshin Impact, I go with a Pantone, color Pantone in my mobile. The number of the color is this, and I want this. And it's difficult to feel safe that these colors and these fabrics are well for your work.
That's so smart, taking it out into the sunlight. That's a really good idea. I'll keep that in mind.
I always do the same, yeah.
That happened with me too. That and I asked the lady in the shop, can I take this to the light?
Yeah,
so I'm the
also,
only one who doesn't do it yet. I will from now on. Now I know the secret as well.
there are also a few checks and references and the paint inside. You sometimes have cold light, and then you have light bulbs that tend warmer, and it's completely different fabrics. And
When you arrive at home and plan, oh my God, is it not the,
Yes,
the
yes,
same
yes,
color? I changed the back, no.
yeah, exactly.
It's the light.
Yeah, for regarding how long a costume takes for me, it extremely differs because I'm hyped on something. If I'm hyped on something and I'm able to take a bit time off since I'm self-employed, so I sometimes am able to do so, then I can make a costume in a week or two, even a complicated one like the Star Wars armor because I had to. I mean, in that case, it wasn't for me, so it was an order and I really had to. The difference is mainly for the time a costume consumes me is actually if it's an order, so it's a paid amount of time, or if it's for me a personal costume, so I can take as much time as I want to make it as perfect as I want and to make many prototypes and to not meet a specific deadline. So it really differs. And for the challenges, I enjoy working on every costume I've chosen, right? Because I already said I need to being really hooked on it. But I tend to choose costumes and enjoy new challenges like getting a costume with functionality in it, for example, and with LED included in it, or a fog machine. So I love to choose something where I can't figure out at all in the first moment how I could put this done. Yeah.
I can hear that I'm incredibly fortunate with the timing because I do have a very flexible work schedule that allows me to spend a lot of time researching and trying to do the mock-ups for the patterns and everything. So that's, I do have a lot of time, but it still takes me a few months for the bigger cosplays, especially when you have to use very different patterns than from the ones you've already made. But if I have something where I already have a pattern ready to go, I think I can do it in maybe a week or two. So it really depends a lot on what I have to work with from day one.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Okay, you mentioned that earlier that you have to manage your time for cosplay and your time for work and friends and everything. So I would like to ask you about that. How do you manage your time to do a cosplay, to go to events, to be with your friends? Because I think we were discussing just yesterday that some of my friends and your friends just are not in this fandom and are not in this cosplay community, this convention community, and maybe they would like it if they would open themselves to all of this. So how do you manage your time, and are there friends you would like to invite to this community in your life?
Yeah, I actually do have friends that I would like to start getting into cosplay, and it's about planting the little things, having them help me with some cosplays, and usually that helps them to really want to cosplay themselves because they're like, I'm kind of good at this, and then they kind of get into cosplay, which is really cool, and I love how that works. As for the planning, I'm very structured with my time. I have to be, otherwise it just flies away from me, so I write down what cosplays do I want to make for the next year or so, and I have a soft deadline and I have a hard deadline. The hard deadlines will usually be the cons, and the soft deadlines is when I would like to have it done, so I can breathe and have time to look forward to the con. Sometimes the soft deadline just kind of inches in on the hard deadline, but I do have times I would like to have different things of the cosplay done by. So it's very, very structured.
Do you have any apps you use because I know some cosplayers who have, I believe there is a cosplayer app that helps cosplayers to schedule themselves.
I don't use it. I try to, but I need to have it in view when I'm crafting. So I have like a piece of paper where I wrote down all the dates and the slots and what kind of cosplays I want, and I just stick it on my wall.
Paper is the most useful thing.
Yes. Analog.
Yes.
About the work, well, I explained you that I'm working from Monday to Friday. And first of all, I understand that I'm a cosplayer in the event. I'm not a cosplayer every day. And I understand that I must to live in Barcelona and I must to pay a rent. I have a flatmate, and I understand that all the flat is not my room to craft. I must to respect the other areas. I must to pay the rent. I must to clean the flat, and I have another things very important. But as the best part of me, I think that it's cosplay, because but I never forget the other side. And in the weekend, I organize like Kitty with a paper with a calendar, and I put in the calendar in the wall, and I understand I have these weekends and I need to finish this weekend I need to finish this and try to organize. And then in Barcelona I must to change the flat a lot of times, and I understand that I need to be organized because we construct new characters, and new characters need more space, more things, more props, a sword, a complement, and the space in the flat are the space that you have. And it's important to be organized and maybe one time decide, okay, this is too old, I never use it again, maybe I need to do something this, because every year I done one character more, or two, or three, or maybe I want to go to the contest, and I need space to construct the props on a stage, and it's you must be passionate, you must be very organized.
Yeah, I'm also team organized and well structured as well, because I think it's hard to finish a costume otherwise if you're not plan it accordingly. And for the working time frame, though, I don't have specific like weekend days or so that I can schedule to work on something. I mostly go with the flow. If I have some free time spontaneously, I'm like, okay, I can take some hours off now. I go to my workshop. It's very convenient that it's next door. So my company is close to my home. It's just one door, just the next door. And I have a lot of plates there, so I can put my costumes on the side if I have to work on orders. And if an order is urgent or we are on delay with it, I have always to, or I have to and I want to put my own costumes aside to finish the work first. But it's pretty fluent location-wise because it's at the same spot.
Living the dream there.
What?
Living the dream.
Yeah, well, sometimes not if you're not able to work on your own costumes for a long time, right? And that also happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not having a safe free time is something I miss about being self-employed. You don't have a weekend and you don't have a free afternoon or so. Not always, but sometimes.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to competitions. How do you present your cosplays on stage? How do you prepare for that?
My friend said that I'm on a stage animal because because I like it so much. I was studying dancing, funky and hip hop, done till 12 years, and go to competition in group. And I love the stage, I love the music, and I love the rhythm. And when I discovered this hobby, I don't have time to continuing competing in funk and hip hop, but I start competing in costume and with cosplay. Because I decide the choreography, I decide that what I wanna do, and I try to dance in all my performance. And the most important thing is, of course, practice. Practice in your living room, practice on the roof of your flat, practice in a parking, practice everywhere in a park, wherever you can. It's important. And if you need a space, you find them. You need to find where a place with a mobile, the music, and somebody who record your performance. This is the most important. And then obviously I feel nervous at the event, but well, when you put your feet on a stage, you convert and you listen to the music, and it's magic. It's this nerve convert to exciting, and when you feel the crowd, it's so special because the crowd can make that you forget your nerves and be very comfortable on the stage and interpret very well your costume and your character.
I'm also so passionate about being on the stage. I was in a show group for years, and we made some anime or manga series related performances that lasted for 1 hour or so. And I love being in character so much, if it's for the shooting or if it's on stage. But being on stage means so much to me because I love the acting, and I love being as stupid or as excited or as sporty as a character. I don't care what anyone thinks about how I look at that moment, right? Because you're just a character themselves. And specific for competitions, I love to have characters chosen in a skit who have exciting props or effects like a blizzard or light effects or so. And I love to use as most of the stage as possible and run around and really have a lot of power there. So yeah, really excited about performances.
I haven't really competed in recent times, but I have been planning to compete. And it, for me, is very organized because when I do go on stage, it is very much with the audience in mind. It's very much their experience of the character because I do want to stay true to who the character is and how can I elevate my cosplay with my performance. What things do I have available to like make a good show, stuff like that. I think it's so important to think about and not just go with the first idea, but think about what is my options, which of these would give the best audience experience.
Yeah. And how long do you prepare for the stage performance? Because you make the cosplay, of course, but I think it shouldn't be last minute. It should be almost all the time through you make the cosplay too. Or how do you prepare for that in your head, or how do you dream about your performance? When is the time when you say that, okay, now I have to start thinking about my time on stage?
Well, I would like to have an idea of how my cosplay is going to look, but it's not necessarily done when I start planning this stage performance. I have been planning a bit with Sorin, and we use cue cards so we can move them around. So we're like, oh, we like this effect, or we like this effect, and we write them all down, all our ideas on little cards, and then we have a big board where we like pin them to and see, oh, which one would flow together. And we usually spend a lot of time on that part, and we would spend even longer practicing it after that. I would say that if you can have 7 months preparation, I think that would be ideal, depending on how long you are on the stage, because some competitions do only have less than a minute, and some competition have several minutes. So it really depends on how long the duration of the show is.
I'd also say it's very important for me as well as in general, I'd say, to start as soon as possible to start the preparations for a stage show, because, for stage skit, because as Taifu said, practice is the most important thing. So you have to try to. So you have as much as possible in training. Sorry, I'm missing the word. Practice, yeah. So you have to practice as much as possible, and with building huge props for the stage, which I always tend to, you need a lot of months to make it, and then there are other difficulties like, are you alone on stage or do you have a partner? Is the partner living near you or not? Because for me, for the World Cosplay Summit preliminary a lot of years ago, my partner was 10 hours of bus distance apart from me, so we couldn't meet up that often. We have to train a lot with. We needed to practice a lot with videos and so on. And when we met each other, we had to practice for a whole weekend. And yeah.
When you decide that you will do a performance, you need to have the information about the stage, what kind of a stage where you can go. For example, in MondoCon yesterday, you can see the stage. You can, maybe not here, but yes, next year I will go to this stage and I know how is this stage. We are very lucky because in all the events there are a lot of contests that we can choose to have fun. You can choose to represent your country in ECG, for example, and if you are lucky and you are hard work, maybe you can win ECG, and I'm incredible, but it's real. But your objective, first of all, is you must do something that the people understand. For example, my mother can understand my performance without knowing who is Count Olaf from Netflix, or without knowing who is this, or I need to tell a story that all the people can understand, are in or out the cosplay wall. I send my performance to my friends, to my school friends, my family, or my cosplayer friends. Obviously, all these people have different references or opinions, and you must do to construct the story. And then you can, first of all, it's easy to present, then the trick or something important, and then the final. And you need to understand that the show begins here, and then you must finish on the top. But it's for planning, it's what you want to tell, and it was understandable for everything.
Yeah, I think that's very important, that if everyone can relate to that performance anyway, even if they don't know the character or the series, and they still enjoy it, I think that's the best performance you can do. And I think it's really clever that you send your performance, you send it beforehand. Before the competition, you send it to your friends and family to reference?
When I start in the performance, I used to go to the events and see all my partners, cosplayers partners, and I understand, okay, this is ECG stage, or this is ECG style of performance, this is World Cosplay Summit style of performance, and okay, I see, and in YouTube you have a lot of examples that you understand, and you have a clear idea that which performance need or used to represent in each contestant. But when I have the idea, I try to imagine, I try to respect the time. I need time to go to the back of the stage to catch something, and then go in front to the crowd to show. Okay, I need time, I construct the audio, And then when I try to do a performance and I practice, I record and I see if I move for all the stage or only with one side, or I need to change things. And I send this to my family, to my mother or my friends. And it's very rich that, okay, I don't know what you are, but it's that you are the bad man and you want to kill this child because you want to be millionaire. Okay, dancing is good. Well, but it's important to try to have the opinion about if the people understand your story.
Yeah, you made me remember. I also always send the recording to friends or so. Like, what are you doing right there? Why is he giving this to you? Does it make sense or so? So this really helps to make the skit even better. Yeah.
Yeah, feedback always helps. Okay. So let's talk a bit about photo shoots because. It's not only the stage performance. Many cosplayers like to do photo shoots with a professional or themselves. It depends, of course, what equipment they have or how equipped they are. But what are your opinions about photo shoots, like equipment-wise, environment, poses, anything what comes to your mind and you would like to give advice about?
Well, I really enjoy photo shoots. It's one of my passions because I do photography both of other people, but I also do a lot of self-portraits. The one you see with Jennifer here is a self-portrait from a series I did last year where I did one self-portrait every week for a year. So the entirety of 23, I did that. So I think that what's very important to think about is your lighting and your light source. The easiest lighting to use will always be the natural available light. And you can use it differently at different times a day. The easiest to get really nice photos in would be golden hour when you have like the sunset and the sunrise. I think that gives that very romantic, warm light that just looks flattering on almost everyone. And you can make the powerful battle scene and it will be very moody. You can do the romantic things. You can do everything in golden hour. And of course you can use harsh sun, you can use backlight. So you don't really have to have a lot of equipment, especially with phones these days. And there are so many YouTube videos on how to do like kind of gimmicky photo shoots with just your phone. So you don't need a lot of equipment. Equipment just helps you to be able to make different kinds of photos and make more mistakes and fix them, where it's harder to fix mistakes in the phone than in a raw image, for an example. Yeah.
From all the things I like about cosplay, photo shootings are definitely on top of the list. I absolutely love photo shootings. Sometimes I also make a costume only for a photo shooting. And if I have a great idea for a photo shooting location or specific pose or so, I'm like, okay, I need to make the costume to get this done. So I'm also very passionate about it. And while I enjoy finding a great outside location, I also love to build a set inside. And I love to create new props for that, like huge flowers and get tons of fabric that are supposed to hang in the setting or so. And to really change the whole room, that it's like a set photo shooting, but at my home, most likely. And yeah, apart from getting props and so on, and regardless if I shoot inside or outside, I always have a photographer by my side, if possible, so I don't have to take them by myself, but I also can do that with a tablet or so, right, with a self-timer. But I tend to have some helpers at my side so they can burn smoke bombs in the image So sometimes we have 2 smoke bombs, so we need 2 helpers only to light these. Then again, another person who can hold the flashlight and who can accordingly hold it, like the photographer wants it, like higher, make it brighter or something like that. So I really love going on photo shoots with a lot of helpers, like a little crew. It's really convenient and it makes a lot of fun.
How important is the friends or the helpers with for a cosplayer? When I study in the university graphic design, and I try to use the photos that I take in the events and play with the Photoshop, and well, but it's very important to believe in a professional photographers who knows that it said the lights. And for example, in Winifred Sanderson, I put my best in character in this crazy women, and I believe totally to the photographer because they are the professional and they involve your cosplay to put on the top. And I believe I prefer the locations, that maybe it's a good location for the type of costume. But I think that it's very important to give you the best as a cosplayer, as a role player, and to believe 100% to the photographer, professional photographer.
I believe that photo shoots, inside photo shoots, are more controlled. Yes. Is it?
Yes.
Definitely, because you don't have to you don't have to check if the light is outside, if the sunlight is too strong, or if it's clouded, or if it gets dark, or something like that. So inside you always have full control and can shoot at any time. You don't have to be afraid of rain, for example.
Yeah. But outside photo shoots are challenging in another part because you have just people walking around at a venue you choose. Have you ever had any funny experiences about that?
I've had a lot of experience with that. I don't think a lot of them are funny. I think most of them are just kind of unsettling. I have had people follow me around and take photos of me and use like big wildlife camera to zoom in, so they were at a distance and I kept hiding and they were not taking the hint at all. Yeah, and I've had people like film me when I do my self-portraits, when I'm out about with myself. I have no crew, I have no one, I'm just me and my camera and my phone, and then I have people who just stand and film me without asking, and I'm like, hey, dude, could you just ask first? Like, I would let you, but please ask, so you can have my good angle.
Yeah, I think most cosplayers experience such things, unfortunately though, because I always say, hey, you could ask first, please. So I hope they will learn with the time, right? But also, I guess we can understand that they are just staring at us because we're looking so different. And yeah, but I think if you do outside shootings often, and not only in distant places or like lost places or in the middle of nature, but at buildings or spots that are more crowded, you get absolutely used to it over time, and you're just like in the mood, you do your thing, you do your pose, and you absolutely don't care if there are hundreds of people staring at you to just make the job done.
When I have the experience when I have in a location, well, the people are curious and the people looks at you and, well, the people don't understand, but it's happy to see this. And because it's originally different, I remember when I go to the events in the taxi, because it's impossible to go to underground in Barcelona with a costume because it's it's horrible. And I take a taxi, and the taxi driver, when stop in the drive in a car, they look at me or look at another taxi in the other side of like, well, I have this in my car. It's fun and it's respectful, when a lot of respect in event or in the different locations when you want to take a photos. And the people understand that, okay, one moment, can I cross? Oh, no, yeah, cross. And the photographer, okay, I can choose this position without people or waiting for 3 minutes or doing another type of photo first and then another. But luckily, the people are very respect and understand that one moment I take a photo or as the same respect that you have if you have a call, you have a child who needs something. It's a situation that you must respect or you must have a question about, can you, and well.
Yeah, most times they're really polite, right? They're just interested and they're just asking us. Yeah. Of course, not everyone, but often. And I'm also, if they're really interested and very nice to us, it's like, okay, we can take a photo with you as well, right? Because we're also human beings.
Yeah, I think it's just so split in Denmark, especially in Copenhagen. Like half the people are so nice and like, oh, we're just gonna see. And the rest of them, they have places to be. So they are not stopping for your photo shoot and they will walk on your dress if they think it's on the way. They will let their dogs roll on your dresses if they think that's funny. They don't give a shit.
Actually, you make me remind that back in the days when cosplay was a bit smaller in every country or worldwide, it was when you walked around in Berlin also, because Berlin is an open city and you can go around there whatever you look like, no one cares actually. And back in the days it was like everyone who was passing you was like, oh, Carnival isn't now, you know. And it became such a joke to us because we were told that 20 times a day. And right now they're like, okay, this person looks absolutely freaky. Yeah, I don't mind. And they keep scrolling. So they actually got used to it, apparently.
Yeah, and there is that magical moment when you come across like the little children and you're in like some character they know or like dressed up as princesses or something like that. It makes my day. It's so heartwarming. They always get so happy. I have this very cute video where I was doing self-portraits and I had little children coming up to me with like random sticks. I was like, oh, I wanted to give you this, and it's just so cute.
Do they randomly run up to you and hug you?
Yeah, their parents were like, oh, is it okay? And it's like, yeah, it's fine.
Oh, it's one of my favorite things when old women pass you by and they're just like, oh my God, you have such a great hobby. You did that by yourself. It's so nice. You don't go drinking outside at the weekend, but you sew instead and you're creative. So I love that appreciation of some people.
Yeah, I think cosplay can make you have a lot of nice memories and connect with people in a different level. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for this conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us for this conversation. Thank you.